Three, two, we are live. We're live. Yay.
And good night, everybody. And thank you for tuning in to Pieces and Dream podcast. Tonight, to start off the show, we have two up and coming artists that we're going to be featuring. We have Squeeze British, straight out of Jamaica. And we also have Stushyyy from Brooklyn. You know, she represents Brooklyn, but she resides in the Queen City. How you guys doing tonight?
Good.
Ladies first.
Yeah, you can hear me.
You said you good? Squeeze, how you doing out there in Jamaica? So we have been having some connection issues. So if we lose anybody, hopefully they'll jump right back in. Squeeze, you can hear me?
Yeah, I can hear
I
you.
think we lost him. Oh, how you doing tonight? How's everything out there in Jamaica, sir?
Yeah, Jamaica is nice. I'm good.
That's wonderful.
Just
That's
have to be
wonderful.
worrying about
So
the
tonight,
coronavirus and those stuff.
so you over there stressing about COVID?
Yeah, everyone.
You wouldn't? You said everyone is. I mean, it depends on how you looking at it, but I'm not stressing over COVID. I'm not stressing over it at all. All right, so we do
Yeah,
have a
Jamaica
song
has some of the lowest
from
rates.
you
Mhm.
the most Jamaica. I heard Jamaica cases are going up actually, right? Squeeze.
Um,
Oh,
I lost you there.
That's what I heard. I don't know. You said what?
I said I lost.
You hearing me? I think. Oh, we lost them. Okay,
oh,
so hopefully he's gonna come back in. So Peaches, just wait for that. All right, so tonight we have a song that we're going to be featuring, and it actually has Squeeze British, which is the artist that just dropped off, and hopefully he'll be back in, featuring Stushyyy, who's here with us tonight, acting all types of stush, on the camera, like she don't got mouth and all that. Like she over there acting mad quiet.
That's
All
how I
right,
got this
so
name.
All right, so for the record, y'all, before she blew up, Crystal, aka Stushyyy, that's my blood sister, same mama, same daddy. For the
okay.
record, so it's interesting interviewing my sister because I actually have a mini interview for her and Squeeze. Being that Squeeze is not on right now, we're gonna just go to Stushyyy. You ready? Okay,
Yeah.
as if I ain't already tell everybody, the first question we have for you is where exactly are you from? Let the world know.
I'm from Brooklyn. I'm H Block. That's where I grew up at.
H block. What's
What
H
is
block?
this?
That's Hawthorne. It's in Flatbush. Yeah.
Let them
Um,
know. Hawthorne Street. Which Hawthorne? Which Hawthorne, ma'am? Because you got Hawthorne go a long way.
I always come number one, so I'm always gonna jack the first Hawthorne.
What's the first Hawthorne? You're supposed to say Hawthorne between Bedford and Rogers because that's the Hawthorne we from.
Yeah.
Can't be giving the Hawthorne and Nostrand people props because you know, they family though. The whole H block. But Hawthorne between Bedford and Rogers. Oh, you know who else is from Hawthorne between Bedford and Rogers? Terrell, aka Sensei Swag. He's another up and coming artist that's from our block, and he's nice too. Her and him actually got a song together. So, at the end, you gotta give them your Instagram so that this way they can go check out your Instagram and your SoundCloud and all that other stuff and your YouTube. All right, so now
oh
that
yeah,
you know
you
where
can
she's
change your
from,
name on here to your
um,
Instagram if you want
next,
to.
Huh?
oh
You can change
yeah,
your name on here to your Instagram if you want to.
yeah, like you could put at Stushyyy with the
I
three
do that.
Y's. Yeah, girl. All right.
That's why I
So
be
the
thinking,
next,
okay. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
no, it's fine. It's fine. The next question we have is, how would you describe the music that you typically create? Like, what's your flow like?
My flow. What you mean, like my genre of music that I normally put out?
Yeah, like what type of like what would like if you had to compare like describe your flow of music?
I'm more like I'm more like a hip hop, rap type. Some of my songs got a little R&B twist to it, but it's, yeah, majority it's rap.
Okay. All right. So if say for example, like if you made it to where you had the opportunity to open a show for a certain artist, like which artist would you want to open a show?
A little baby, and that's because it's always his beats for me. It be the little baby beats. I got 3 songs on little baby beats, so I would definitely do him because I outdid him on one of his songs already. So I'm gonna have to save that song.
Oh
But
yeah.
Lil Baby, is that the one to go
Okay.
with Jada?
This is
mhm,
Is
yeah,
he still cheating on Jada?
he goes with who?
mhm.
Some little girl named Jada.
Which
She's still with him.
Jada?
Not
Huh?
Jada Smith.
No, he has a little girlfriend named
I was
Jada.
about to say she entangled again.
No, not that one. Oh yeah, he got a little girlfriend because that's the only reason I know about Lil Baby. I don't know none of his songs. I can't tell you the name of his songs, but I know that he got a little girlfriend that he be cheating on and looking stupid. So
Speaking of Lil Baby, can you play like a little snippet of the song of his that you remix so people could try to understand? Like you have that available, or I could probably pull it up. I think I got you on it. I got you. I got you. I think I got it right here. I think I got you on here somewhere. Hold up, y'all. Let me see. It's not that. How long was that song, Crystal? Stushyyy?
It's like 2 minutes.
Brown skin and I'm thinking he had to give it that. I cannot get played again, so you know I'm attacked. Had to leave him in the wind. Niggas don't know how to act. I got me about 20 niggas that be flooding my inbox. Got so many fucking hitters cause I'm headed to the top. I'm too busy chasing fans, I stack it up like they go blocks. Keep it real, they on my heels. Some niggas moving like my socks. Must be crazy if you think that I'ma overplay my part. If he wanna get this, he gotta get it back in blood. I be dubbing more than I be choosing, that's what I be on. I don't play with no niggas, he can't get right, I do him wrong. Put this nigga on him, now I'm running from him, now he's on my phone, I think I gotta change my number. I'm way better than his cover, bitch, still wanna hit. I don't really think he know it, but he knows it's like somebody. All right, so basically that was a Lil Baby song that she remixed. That's one of them ones that she was talking about. So yeah, all right. So the last question that brings us. That's like one of her more recent tunes that I'll be vibing to. The last question right now. Well, it's the second to last question. So you gotta go a cappella for us. What is your most favorite song that you created that you would love to perform, or that you like performing the most? Let's hear a little snippet of it.
Yo, you really just hot at me up just now. Um,
Mm, that's wonderful. Did I not
um,
share it? I don't.
all right. You know I'm shy. You gonna put me on the spot, but all right.
go
For
ahead.
one, at the end of the day, ain't no
Um,
such thing as being shy. Don't be like what's her name? Summer Walker and cancel a whole freaking concert because of her stage fright. You gotta get the bag, honey. Like
Wait,
this is what you
Squeeze and
gotta
I
Kim
do,
had
boo.
She's an empath.
I
Oh,
mean, I'm an empath, but at the end of the day, you gotta do it if the price is right,
I mean, and yeah, I'm an
even
empath
if it
that
means
needs
doing it for
money.
free.
I'm an empath that needs money. Shit.
Like when it comes to chasing your dreams and stuff, I don't think that like fuck that empath shit. That's how I feel. It's like at the end of the day, it's like I'm kind of shy too, but if I gotta talk to somebody for some money or to try to get to where I'm trying to go, I'm talking.
Like I'll do a show, but no
Come
meet
on,
and
you gotta do
greets.
a little, not even a whole song, just a little
all right,
something.
all right. I got you. I got you. I got
She said a
you.
show with no meet
One
and
day.
greet.
Alright, you wanna play I'ma go fuck with your mans, then don't fucking try me cause you know that I'm a chance it. I like him tough, but he gotta be romantic. If I see my old nigga, I'ma panic. Why? Cause I drove that nigga crazy with this good shit. He go, he get this look in my name Crystal, but the whole hood call me Stushyyy. I'm really fed and when the extra please don't push me, but outside, 'cause I live in Hawthorne. I had to double cup of guys, but I get more. I drop one nigga and pick up four. Niggas showing fake love, say no more. I'm really fine cause I'm from Hawthorne. Good foul.
New York is the city I was raised and born. I used to be good, but niggas made me torn.
Niggas taking niggas, you know what's going cause. If you take
If you
mine,
take
better
mine,
take yours. RFT, that's real fucking
that's
talk.
real fucking
Like the girl
talk.
want a bitch with a fake butt. And the bitch that
Ooh,
ain't pretty without makeup of me. I'm valid on you fam, cause I'm silent, make noise when I'm wildin'. I'm on a different time. He used to get behind me, but that's past tense. If he ain't on a perk, he ain't lasting. That's it. That's it.
don't give him too much.
Okay.
Don't give him too much.
Okay, so now we know that's the favorite for the record. So, all right, before we go in and we introduce the song that we actually wanted to promo tonight, and hopefully my Wi-Fi don't give me no problems. But let the people know how they can reach you on on social media. I know it's probably going to be primarily Instagram, but let them know your Instagram, your at name.
All right. My Instagram is at Stushyyy, and it has 4 Y's. So that's Stushyyy itself with 3 extra Y's. So yeah.
So Stushy and then YYY. That's messed up because I actually been doing just 3 Y's when it's 4 Y's. Okay, I gotta correct that.
Wait, I
All
don't
right.
know.
Any
It,
other information?
I have a question.
mm-hmm.
How were y'all able to record the song? Were you down in Jamaica? Because I know you were down in Jamaica recently, or did y'all send the tracks back and forth?
That's a good
That's what happened.
question.
Yeah, just while I'm on that, shout out to my engineer, Streets on the Track, because he is official. He basically squeezed sent him just a rough draft of his verse, and then he put it on the instrumental. I recorded it in the studio, but my engineer put Squeeze on the track, and it's crazy because you can't really tell we was in 2 different areas, but he did a real good job
Like
with
two
that.
different countries. Yep. Yep. And it's a real hit, y'all. This one is it's the name of it is Real Love. We also call it, Satisfaction. And again, it's
Yeah,
Squeeze
that's
British
what I'm
featuring
like.
your one and only
I'm listening
Stushyyy.
to it. I'm like, this ought to be named Satisfaction.
It's interesting because like we all felt like it should have been named that, but Squeeze is not here, so we can't have that conversation. But that's just what we went with. What he went with, so we just flowed with it. But like I said, Squeeze is not here to defend himself, so we can't. So we the name on YouTube. If you look it up, you're gonna see it under Real Love. But and this top flight rhythm, because with Jamaicans, they love to give credit to the actual name of the beat. They name their beats in Jamaica. They don't play no games, right? So it's called the top flight rhythm. That's the instrumentals. That is 2. And we're going to get right into it, guys. Here we go.
Huh?
All right, guys, that was the song. Look for this on YouTube. It's under Niche Entertainment. NISH Entertainment is where it's posted to. Y'all go like, share, subscribe to the page. Yes. Peaches is actually bumping that as I came on the live, like that song right there.
Oh yes.
On the video. So anyway,
That's what
Stushyyy.
needs to happen. A music video. Y'all could have shot one when y'all was down in Jamaica.
This
Made
came
this
after
song.
the fact. It came
Yeah,
after.
this just came. This was just created around like Valentine's Day. It was actually perfect time when this song came out too. Yeah, I would think it was like February 13th or somewhere around there.
What?
No, February 12th. I don't know, because February was like March and it was a Friday, so it was probably February 12th, right? Because it's
I
March
went to
12th.
record it. I
So yeah.
recorded it on February 12th. That's when I recorded it.
Yep. So actually, it's a month anniversary. And oh yeah, and guys, you know how we like stats, right? But the video has over 13,000 views on YouTube. So y'all go run the views up. Run the views up.
Yes, yes, please.
Yes. All right, so me and Peaches, we're about to go into our podcast. We definitely appreciated having you on. I'm mad that we couldn't have Squeeze on the whole time, but you know, hopefully I'll catch him in the future. You know.
For sure. And me and Squeeze got some more stuff coming. Because a lot of people like that song.
Yes.
And they think that we collab really well. So we got another song coming.
Yeah.
So after that, I just gotta get in the studio. Once I get in the studio, that's gonna be out next. So.
All right. Well, we looking forward to the new tunes on deck. You know, I'm gonna be the first one to hear them. So you know. All right. Well, Stushyyy, thank you for your time. I hope you have a great night. We're about to get into the topics for the night. It was nice having you. Hopefully, you be back in the future.
And Stushy come back. I keep telling Juanita that we need to have you on here as like a featured panelist or something.
Oh yes, so you can talk shit with us, you know, because I think.
I'm with it.
All right, so we're gonna plan that. We're gonna plan that.
All right, later.
All right, later, girl. All right,
Woo.
Peaches. I mean, thank you. Well, everybody that's here or everybody that's watching, I hope you enjoyed that. Definitely go check it out. My sister, she's nice. One of the things is I be wishing I could speak for her, but I can't. But she's very versatile because as much as she's like a hip hop and um more, her little R&B flow, like, she did a little reggae tune, came out nice, dancehall reggae at that. So, it's a good look. Y'all
Yeah.
go support my sister. Greatly appreciate it. You look like
Yeah.
you on the go. Where
No, I
to?
just
Where
gotta
to?
do these scans and then I can sit down.
Okay. Because
But
remember,
I'll be
girl, we
talking.
got them
So,
topics.
oh yes, we got some shit, girl. I got some notes on Judas and the Black
Oh, you
Messiah.
got
What was the
notes. I
first
know
topic?
we. Okay, so
Huh?
yeah, so was the interesting part. The first topic we're gonna be talking about, it kind of goes right into, what we just had, a little bit of Brooklyn, a little bit of Jamaica, right? So did you guys
Yeah.
watch the Big documentary on Netflix? So what did you
It
think
was
about it?
it was cool. Hold on. It kind of went
Okay,
like.
well, I'm going,
Hold on, just a moment.
of course. And also, guys, it is well, actually March the 9th, which was a couple of days ago. March the 9th made the 24th and death anniversary for Biggie. And it's interesting because in a documentary he said something about not calling Biggie Smalls because I think that was somebody else's name, but I think he just went by like Big Papa or Big or
Yes,
Big,
white
something
guy's
like that.
name.
But anyways,
Guy's name.
it was weird because I'm like Biggie Smalls, like like I knew him as Biggie Smalls, but then the in the documentary he clearly said like we can't call him that because of copyrights or some shit because it's another Biggie Smalls.
But here's the thing: we
That was
still
news
call
to
him
me.
that, but I don't think legally, his stage name he couldn't go by that.
Yeah, but for Christopher, and it's interesting because Christopher, well, Biggie Smalls, Big, him and my mom, they're actually like the same age. They're actually from the same place in Brooklyn, Bed-Stuy. And then a lot of people know Biggie had the Jamaican mom. His mom was Jamaican. In the documentary, also he used to go to Jamaica, like like actually go to Jamaica every year, which is interesting because it's a lot of people that have Jamaican backgrounds, but they never actually been to Jamaica. So when those people that actually go to Jamaica, they different because they have different type of morals and standards. But anyways, it makes his 24th anniversary of his death, and the most interesting part is that he was 24 when he was murdered. So he was
He was
dead at this point
48.
just as much as he was alive, and we still talking about him,
That's a
which is
damn
good because
shame
it's like
because
he's gonna live his name. It's sad, but his name is living longer than he did physically. So he still lives on in spirit. But yeah,
but he was so young when he passed. He still would have been young today because 48 is not old.
yes, he was young. You know, it's crazy because like when he died, I remember like my mom was really like disturbed by it. Because like I said, it's somebody who she actually physically like grew up with. So I remember his death, and it was crazy because he was 24. My mom was 24. But the most interesting
Oh,
part about it is my mom was 24 with 4 kids. At the time, she was 24 with 4 kids. And I'm just looking at it and I'm like, yo, because Biggie also had a daughter, I think he had a daughter and a son when he passed. Because I'm like, look at the stuff they was doing at 24. Like, I think they was way more advanced. Because I'm
yeah,
like, dang, he did a lot and he was 24.
he did a lot do in that little bit of time because they were chronicling the
In
home
that little bit
videos,
of time.
and it's just a fucking shame. I don't like it that he's not here anymore. And here's the thing, like it started from a fake beef. The beef was so fake. It was fake in terms of Pac was being lied to about who, planned the robbery and who shot him.
You know what's crazy? Because I actually came across an article today that ain't got nothing to do with this because it was actually it was like Caucasian girls. But I was reading a thing today where they said these Caucasian girls was recently. They said what caught my attention is that the article said these high school mates are going to spend the rest of their lives together behind bars in prison. So when I read the article, what it basically was about, it was these three girls that was friends. One of them, she came home from work, she kissed her parents goodnight and went in the room. The next morning, she wasn't in there, and they saw a stool by her door, which let them know that she snuck out. The problem is that as much as she snuck out, she never came home. Anywho, so what ended up happening was they had surveillance cameras, which is this is a real story. It happened in 2012. They said they had surveillance cameras. So with the surveillance cameras, they saw that one of the friends picked the girl. It was one of her friends that came and picked her up. So then at first they were like, "Where did y'all go?" They're like, "Oh, she got drunk and we don't know what happened to her. She got high and overdosed." They were saying she was dead at one point, saying she overdosed and she died. They were saying, she overdosed and they don't know where she went. It was a whole bunch of bull crap. But anyways, one of the girls ended up having a mental breakdown, and she confessed that they basically took the girl. They told the girl, come on, let's go out to their normal, regular smoke spot, right? And basically, they killed her. And so they after the problem with that was that they stabbed her over 50 times. So when you think about this type of stuff that people could plot and mind you, they planned it. They said that they wore big sweaters purposely just to stab this girl up. Like that story was stuck in my head. So when I think about this craziness that they be doing, and I start thinking about the life that Biggie was living and then Tupac was living, right? Oh, Sneeze is back. What's up?
Yeah. I'm here.
Yes. I see. Like we were actually doing the podcast. Peaches didn't. She gave me no type of heads up that you were back.
He just popped
Well,
in.
since you're back,
I told you since
basically
we were
we.
talking about Biggie, he might want to, join in.
Oh, do you watch shows? Because what we were talking about right now is the Biggie Smalls documentary.
Yeah.
Did you watch that?
I haven't watched it as yet.
Oh, it was interesting. Well, it's on Netflix. You should go watch it. Now that you're here, because we actually played the song, so like I could like do my little interview with you really quickly, and then we could pick back up with the topics, and then maybe you could drop back out. You ready?
Yeah, all right.
So guys, you say ready, right? Wait. All right. So can you do a little introduction for us really quickly
Yeah, it's Squeeze British from the British Empire. Yeah.
from the
So
British
I'm Squeeze
Empire?
British. My
So
real name is Dwayne Black. Currently doing some good music, working on some singles. Have a recent single out, as you know, it's Stushyyy. Yeah, and a couple other artists coming out. Same.
yes. All right, wonderful. So, aside from the fact that you're from Jamaica, which is quite obvious, where exactly in Jamaica are you from?
Montego Bay.
Montego Bay. Where in Montego Bay? Is a certain area, a certain hood, a certain scheme that you're giving credit to?
Well, my hometown is Lottery. Um, I move around in and out of Montego Bay, Mandeville, Kingston, St. Catherine. Do
Okay.
good music.
All right. So, I have about 5 questions. They're really easy and short questions, so they're not going to take up too much of your time. You ready?
Hmm.
All right. So, the first question is, what first got you into music?
Well, I was doing music from high school. I used to have a crew called Timex, so we always do music um, in and out of school. So, we go to some place in the arcade, the old arcade in Montego Bay, record on cassettes. Many people don't know cassettes, but we record on cassettes and give people the cassettes so they have many songs listening for us from earlier on.
Okay, okay. All right.
And
So
my
what age would you
father,
say that would have been like? High school was like 13? Huh?
yeah, high school was like
I'm sorry.
13.
What was that?
My father used to have all the artists coming into his residence um, during some fest times and like music times in Montego Bay. So I would be around those artists same way.
All right. So you've been exposed to music from quite a young age. So when it comes down to the type of music that you produce, how would you describe the music that you typically create? Like what kind of genre, what kind of flow? Do you ever compare yourself to another artist, or do you think you're your own original, unique style? Or
Well, I do every genre basically. I don't compare myself to other artists. I like every artist that's trying to develop their skills, develop their voice, their style of music. I respect every artist. Doesn't matter where they're from or who they're around.
and then when you say the genre, like Crystal said, she's more of a hip hop artist and she do a little R&B, but you would say you're more so of a dancehall reggae artist, right?
Yeah, I could say I'm a dancehall reggae artist. Um, I also do Latino dancehall, and I also do part hip hop because I have an album called Energy, straight British slang kind of music in English, so I have a
Okay.
vibe there
I
too.
would say you use a little British accent, you know? Haha.
You know what
A
I'm
whole
saying?
ox, a whole, it says, I think I saw that on your YouTube. Let me actually go on
Yes.
YouTube right now so that people could hear a little bit. I just came across it earlier. That's the crazy part. Because I was trying to find time to do like a flyer to promote the podcast, but I never, hold on, where is it? I think this is one from NRG, right?
Yeah.
All right, so that's the sample. Make sure you guys go on YouTube and look for Squeeze British, his Vivo channel. That's where you'll be able to find that. And make sure you guys subscribe to. All right, so that was a little yo. So you have to teach me how to talk like I'm from, like a part of the British Empire.
I think you're doing it just fine.
You think so? Like, you have to give me some lessons, I don't think I was as good as you. I can't do a whole song. So I need a lot of practice.
Yeah.
Oh man, let me get back to my questions. Wait. All right, so my next question was that when it comes down to performing, like of all of your songs, what's your most favorite song to perform? And can we hear a little bit? Like, can you just perform a cappella right now? Like your most favorite Squeeze British that you ever wrote? A little
Yeah,
snippet, just a little bit.
I can, but it's
Wait, why would I think it's Frozen?
Oh
He
no.
froze?
It's
That's what I'm saying. Like,
No,
what?
he here,
Wait,
he
he's
here,
there
he here.
still. He's there.
He here,
Hold
he
on, wait. It
here.
was freezing up. Okay. All right, there you go. I thought we lost you again. I was about to say, like, oh no. All right, you ready? Squeeze.
I'm I'm
You can
I'm
hear
not
me.
on the live.
You are. You on the live with the weed and everything, sir. You can't hear. Peaches, you can hear me.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, try
I
to take
think
him out and put him right back in real quick because he's saying he can't hear.
okay. All right, he's back.
All right, can you hear us now?
Sorry about that.
No, it's cool. You can hear us? Is it frozen? Yeah, I think so because we
Oh
lost
no,
him.
he dropped off.
I know. Anyways, all right, so we're gonna jump right back into the Biggie topic. The Biggie documentary. So basically, okay, what was your viewpoints? I think I started to ask you that, but then we never got to your viewpoints on it.
Well, one hold on.
Hmm.
One question I did want to ask him was how influential Biggie was since he was from Jamaica. I don't know if it was all of Jamaica or just the parts that his mom was from. But yeah, that's all
Yeah,
I really wanted.
that would have been a good question for Squeeze
Mhm.
too. Like that would have been a good question, but hopefully we get him back because I wanted to hear. Like I didn't know that he actually what he was saying was that he has a whole album and the whole album is in like the UK British. Like he's talking like because the group that he's with, they're called the British Empire. So
Okay.
it's like it's yeah, that's his group that he represents, the British Empire.
So they're like the British
But yeah, but what was your
monarch.
viewpoint on the Biggie movie?
I mean, it was good to see, footage that had never been seen before. I had no idea that his grandmother was still alive back in the late 90s. I'm like, where the hell did they get that video from? And still living in Jamaica. So, what else? Um, I know they're not gonna, say anything, especially since Puffy is like he's running the whole show and he's an executive producer and all that, but they're not gonna say that Puffy had a hand in Biggie's death. So that's what really fucked me up.
The sad part is that like with the people with the way how people be doing things is like people would really set up their own people. Like that's what made me think about those little high school girls. I'm like it's crazy because those were her best friends. And they really murdered her. And then they said that the last thing she asked them when they was murdering her was why. And they said, oh, and then basically when they was being interviewed by the police, they're like, oh, because we just didn't like her. Like the fact that there's people that really think that they can go around and kill people just because they don't like them or just eliminate them out this world for any reason. Like that's just so weird to me. Like so weird. Like I
Yeah,
don't
but
know,
in
but
Biggie's case, like he was one of two popular artists at that time. So you know what they say: if you're famous, you're worth more dead than you are alive.
that too.
So Puffy saw a way to, get rich off of Biggie's death. Actually, I don't know if anybody knows this, but one of their old security guards named Gene Deal. He has a YouTube channel. I don't want to say his whole YouTube channel is about Puffy and Biggie, but he was around during that time. And he was one of the ones who talked to, Miss Wallace when Biggie passed. Like he was, like he was there. And I'm surprised he's still like, safe in New York. But he did say that Puffy had a life insurance policy out on Biggie when he died.
That's interesting. I haven't heard anything about that. But you know, the crazy part is that what people gotta understand is that they had set it up so good because whoever it was, they wanted it to be a situation where it would seem like, okay, it has to do with him and, Tupac. I'm sure Tupac, whoever killed Tupac, I'm sure it probably was some insurance money involved or money on his head too. You understand?
Of
And it was
course.
like people, because it makes no sense. Like they were friends, and then for whatever reason, somebody had to be in Tupac's ear telling him that Biggie this
Sure.
or Biggie that, because but if you look at the way their personalities, Biggie was all like, like I didn't do nothing to you. So it was a
My name's
situation
not
where like
sweetie.
if we had beef, let's sit down. It was like, if they got beef, let's sit down and, talk this out. That's the type of person Biggie seemed
Man,
to
get the
be.
fuck in your
But
car.
then Tupac was on some, oh no, like fuck that nigga, like Tupac was really, really like, I guess you would say
Hey.
belligerent, I think that's the word.
How you doing? I'm fine. How are you? I know.
He just ain't even mute the phone.
Yeah, yeah. My bad, girl. I'm at work.
Oh, Keisha. I know you at work. I was like, dang, you could have muted the phone.
No, you're fine. I mean, I was
But
listening, but
it's all
you just
good.
all over
It's
the
all
place.
good. Girl, I know. I know how that be. I know. Yeah, but I was saying belligerent. Is that the word that I want to use? Okay, this is what I'm gonna repeat what I was saying because it kind of is important. But whenever it came down to the beef and drama that Biggie and Tupac had, when it came to their personalities, Biggie was more so of the person that was like, let's sit down and talk about this and let's, come to some type of agreement. But to me, and like I said, tell me if this is the right word. And I'm actually gonna go on Google in a second. But to me, Tupac was very belligerent, like, nah, fuck that nigga. He this and he that and he this and he that. So I was just like, Tupac is part of the reason why they
All
could never,
right.
to
See you
me,
later. All
sit
right.
down
You
and
too.
find peace. But then at the end of the day, we still don't know who Tupac had in his ear. That's the other
Everybody. I
problem. Because
think it
I'm
was
like,
mostly Suge.
but the problem is that, like, listen, I just like, if anybody know anything about people from Brooklyn, is like, yo, we could fight, yeah, but we would rather try to keep the peace. And it's interesting because that's exactly what Biggie was saying. Like, because you notice, like, Biggie don't have never had no type of attitude or personality to be like, nah, fuck that nigga. I don't know. I don't like him. Like, he never had no type of hostility. And I'll be using words. I don't even know what the fuck I'll be talking about. But he never
No,
showed no
he
type
really
of.
didn't have the hostility towards Pac, and that was the fucked up part.
Yeah, so
Can you hear
I'm just
me?
like, yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you.
Oh,
So I was just like, it don't seem like Biggie would have, like, Biggie don't got nothing. Like, he had kids. Did Tupac have kids too? But I know Biggie had his
no,
daughter at
no.
least, and I think he has a daughter.
Tupac didn't have any kids. He was with Quincy Jones's daughter,
And if you
and
understood anything, like Biggie knew, like, with that street life, if you only gonna end up dead or in jail. He wasn't trying to have no beef with nobody.
but here's one thing I've heard from a lot of people concerning Biggie. That Ready to Die album, just the name, the Ready to Die, and then the content he
It kind
had
of
on
spoke it into existence.
yes, like you
Yeah,
were on that vibration. And his friend was like, oh, it was a cry that he wanted to live. Well, if that was the point, then, switch it around and, you know, just you be on that frequency. But, ready to die, Look, niggas take that type of shit literally. Can you hear me? You're mute.
Yeah, I can hear you, girl. But
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
yeah, I can hear you. You know how I be doing, but I'm here. But yeah, the thing about it is that, like, we're ready to die. Like, he spoke it into existence. It's like, yeah, but at the end of the day, you know, the type of life that he was living, especially since he was like you know how they say live by the gun, or no, live by the sword, die by the sword.
Yeah.
What people have to understand is that in situations like that, it's like when you live that lifestyle, your karma catches up with you eventually. Because you see, one of the guys who was in the documentary, he said back in the days he used to rob people. You understand?
Yeah.
So
Oh
you got
yeah.
this lifestyle where you rob people. God knows if you probably murdered some people. You used to sell drugs. You used to this. You used to that. So at the end of the day, the type of life that he was living, yeah, like he definitely
Yeah,
was
like
at
his
risk of
friend
something like that
Ollie,
happening.
his friend Ollie, whatever his name is, Ollie, that got killed. Like he was doing that
His
type of
name was
shit.
Roland. It's interesting because I
AKA
only know
Ollie.
one other type person named Roland. Yeah, his real name, I remember them saying his real name is Roland and they called him Oli. Or Oli.
So
But
yeah.
yeah. But with the actual like it was a good, it was a honestly, I'm proud. Like, with me being from Brooklyn and Biggie being somebody who pretty much represents Brooklyn, it's like the way he carried himself, his personality, like he seemed like one of the most humble people ever. And the most interesting thing I thought about that whole documentary is the fact that his mom never his mom didn't know what was in his music. His mom didn't know the type of music that he was producing. And I'm like, if she definitely seemed like one of those strict Jamaicans. I ain't even gonna hold you. And it was like you saw how he talked about his mom, right? It's like he had a lot of respect for his mom, but this because he clearly like it's like whatever like the music he was making, he wasn't doing it in front of her. And
And he
I
didn't
have to
want her
laugh
listening
because
to
if
him
you
either.
know Biggie's lyrics, Biggie got some of the most raunchy. Would you even say raunchy? Like he got I
Well, he
remember my
lived,
mom used to be
he
listening
lived
to
kind of like
Biggie, and
a
they used to be
raunchy
like, "What
life.
type of shit?"
He lived a raunchy life. Of course, they had his, wife on there, but his mom. I guess his mom was number one. But when it came to the women in his lives, like that whole situation with him being married and having Lil Kim and Charlie Baltimore on the side, I'm glad they didn't go down that route because Charlie Baltimore was a fart in the wind. Like, he was a side bitch, and Lil Kim was a side bitch. And, Faith Evans was the only one who actually mattered.
You said Charlie Baltimore?
Yeah, he was with Charlie Baltimore. She was in one of his videos.
I knew he was with Faith Evans. Wasn't that his wife when he passed? I'm confused, huh?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay, so he had the baby mama, which is not Faith Evans. Well, Faith Evans also had a kid for him, right?
Yes. Okay, so he had Tiana, that was his daughter, with Jan before him and Faith met. Then him and Faith got, no, wait, it was Jan, the one who had his daughter when they were still in high school or whatever. Um, he already knew Lil Kim from around the way, so he was fucking Lil Kim, but he didn't take Lil Kim seriously. He married Faith Evans. So Faith Evans came into the situation thinking, she was the only one, and she didn't know that, he had that type of relationship with Lil Kim. So they get married. And then he's, obviously was cheating on Faith Evans with Lil Kim. And then they separate, but they're still married. And then here comes Charlie Baltimore. And Charlie Baltimore was supposed to be his artist. she was supposed to be like a light skinned Lil Kim. So, but before that happened, he got killed. So yeah, it was so messy in that short time. It was so fucking messy.
Yep. You know how it's crazy because they say Rome wasn't built in a day. What he had going on was built so fast, and as fast as it was built, the tore down even faster. And it all has to do mainly because, like, it's sad because when I think about the Pop Smoke and Nick Blicky situation, you know who Pop Smoke is, right?
Yeah.
Pop Smoke was murdered, and then they feel like it was, how they got this the Woo, and then they also got this other the Blickies or whatever. So basically after Pop Smoke was murdered on Mother's Day, they killed Nick Blicky in Brooklyn.
Wait, is
And
that
I'm
the
like,
guy
and
that
it
got
was,
shot and he rolled down the street?
I don't know nothing. Nick Blicky, when Nick Blicky got shot, he was shot with an actual shotgun
Yeah,
in
that was him. He
Brooklyn.
got shot and it was on the surveillance camera and his body rolled down the street. Like that's how hard the bullet hit his body. Yeah, that was some bullshit.
It's sad because it was on Mother's Day. And I'm like, all of this because y'all swear that he's associated with the people that kills Pop Smoke. But it's fucked up because even in deaths, like some people are very rude and disrespectful. Like, you know how people be smoking weed? So you have people that like when Pop Smoke was died, they like, oh yeah, we smoking on Pop, like as if they cremated him and they rolled him up in a blunt or some shit. And then same thing when Nick Blicky died, you have people on the Nick Blicky post like, oh, like talking shit. Mind you, he's dead, and y'all on his post talking shit for what? And then even like who he used to be with 22 G's. You ever heard of him? I think that's the guy name. It's another rapper, but even when he used to be with Nick Blicky a lot, and he was posting stuff of people coming on his page like disrespecting a dead person. I'm like, what makes you feel good about talking shit about somebody that's dead? Somebody that, especially when he had a baby on the way. That's the crazy part. The baby was recently born. Nick Blicky had a baby on the way. And they murdered him on Mother's Day. Like, there's some evil ass motherfuckers out there. Like, it's sad.
It's the same thing when King Von, they posted
But
his
yeah, that's what
body.
this.
Huh? They posted
I
his
know what
body
you
from
were
the
saying.
coroner's office online. Like, I don't like where do you get the nerve? That is so disgusting.
It is. That's sad because I'm sure the family had got it because not anybody could get that. But a lot of times when they die, you get pictures of the body. Like somebody, like honestly, I never seen it. Like even like when my daughter's father passed, like his mom had the pictures and they had asked if I wanted to see, and I was like, no, I don't. I don't want to see nothing. But that no, like that's messed up though. Like it's messed up. But hey, so yeah, like I said, with Biggie, I really like it makes me proud seeing actual footage. Like nobody could speak for him because he presented himself, even when he was doing that interview, right? You saw how in most of the documentary he was doing an interview and they would be asking him questions. Yo, pause. That was the real Biggie, right?
Yeah.
Because the way from what I understood, it was like everything in that documentary or any footage of Biggie was the real Biggie. Meaning like he
Mm-hmm.
that guy who he was rolling with used to take his camera everywhere. And that's good though,
Oh,
because
D-Rock.
it's like even now, like how we think about how technology is great and we sit there and we snap and we take pictures and we make videos, like it's really good that that guy was so into taking videos because now you got all this footage and you really get to see, you know, you get to see how Biggie was, the type of person, you get to see who Biggie was, the type of person he was, and you get to hear him talk for himself, you know? Like a lot of the times when people pass away, like you gotta depend on hearing from other people what type of person they was and this, that, and the third. But if you haven't watched the documentary, definitely make sure you go check it out. I think it was definitely worth the watch. Okay, so we got that topic covered.
What's the next topic? Oh wait, what's the next topic? Judas and the Black
And the
Messiah.
next topic of the night,
Speaking
yeah,
of
that.
having your friends killed. Oh, actually, let me go and get my notes. Let me go and get my notes real quick.
All right, so guys, okay, so before we go into Judas and Black Messiah, again, the Biggie documentary is available on Netflix. So if you have Netflix, go check it out. And then Judas and the Black Messiah is available on HBO Max. I think that's what it's called. Yeah, HBO Max, I want to say. Anyway, is it? Because the app is on this phone, actually. Guys, give me a second. I could confirm. Yeah, it's HBO Max. So Judas and the Black Messiah. Now, that's basically about the Black Panther Party member that was pretty much set up and to be murdered by the FBI. I want to say his name was Fred Hampton. Hold on, give me a second, guys. Yeah, so Frederick Allen Hampton, he was an American activist and a revolutionary socialist. So pretty much he was I can't say for sure if he founded the Black Party, the Black Panther Party, but he was a part of it. And pretty much the movie is about um you know the, basically how he was set up by the FBI and police and murdered. Like it's when I say murdered, murdered. Like when I say murdered, I mean like they set him up by drugging him before raiding the house and shooting him to death. And mind you, when they shot and killed him, he was asleep because his girlfriend, who was pregnant at the time, couldn't wake him up out his sleep because the person who was helping, which is somebody who was right in their camp, set him up by slipping him some drugs, a sedative that made him really, really like when she was trying to wake him up because the house was being raided, she couldn't even wake him up. And then they went in the room and saw the man in his bed and they still shot and killed him anyway. So when you say murdered, he was murdered. And mind you, this is after they done set, I want to say it was like the warehouse or wherever they actually used to meet at. They set the place on fire and burned it to the ground at one point. And then they rebuilt the place back up. The story is crazy. I want to hear these notes that Peaches has because I know she's gonna preach when it comes to this topic. Like as much I can honestly say that I personally wasn't aware of like this particular story. So watching it and then knowing that it's a real story, it's disturbing because it's like, yo, they that fucked up. They that fucked up. They gave him they knew they had to give him some fucking meds to have him knocked out because they probably could not have defeated him if he was up and able to get his gun and at least he could have. And the sad part is that they shot over 90 times. You know that, right? They shot over 90 times into his apartment.
While they were asleep.
Anyway, while they were asleep. And mind you, and on top of being asleep, they slipped him the drugs to make him extra sleepy to where his girlfriend couldn't wake him up. She
That
couldn't
was some
even wake
bullshit.
him
Like
up.
I
That was
actually
some bullshit.
I actually skipped over that part where they showed her back was turned and the cop went in there and shot him. I couldn't see that.
Yeah, it was crazy because after they was like, oh, is he dead? And they knew he was like, knocked out because of the drugs. And then he shot in there and shot at him and said, oh, he's good and dead now. They knew he wasn't even shot. Like after they done shot they 1,000,001 bullets already, they knew he wasn't shot. He was alive still. They purposely sat there and killed him. Like that shit
Like
is sickening. It's sad because it's just
what I didn't like was they had that whole wad of money and they could have got the fuck up out of there. They
you
could have
know
got the fuck
what?
up out of there.
It's you absolutely right. You are absolutely right. Because you know how they took that money? You're right. They really could have took the money and dipped, but it was like he wasn't trying to leave. And the sad and unfortunate part is that a lot of people don't be trying to leave, so they sit there and they stay, and then something happens. But the most ironic part about life is that you can decide to leave and then something happens. You understand? So I think,
No,
the reality,
not the way
especially if
it
you're
would
a
have
believer in
happened
God,
because
like when
they
it's
were
your time,
supposed
it's
to
your time.
go. They were supposed to go to another. No, fuck that shit. They were supposed to go to another country, and like, girl, that's what pisses me off. They could have just left, but here's my thing. Like, if I came into a lot of money, of course I'm gonna put my hood on. I'm gonna do whatever I can for my community. But because I'm a target, I can't be in the community.
Yep.
They're
And the
living
thing
in an
about it is
apartment.
that
They're living in an apartment building with all the other regular people. You're not regular anymore. You're Fred Hampton. Why are you in an apartment like that with the guy sitting up with one gun with a whole team of police out there gunning for your ass? I
But
don't
the
want to
thing
say
about it
this.
was that I don't. Okay, here's my question that I don't really have clarity on when I watched this documentary. Is it a situation where he had a warrant? Why did they go to his apartment? That's what I don't
To kill
understand.
him. To kill him. To kill him.
But at the end of the day, it's like what? How? Like it was like government officials that went to his house, and it's crazy because I know that eventually they did a lawsuit, and the lawsuit went on. This happened in like 69, 1969, and they did a lawsuit, and they didn't win their lawsuit until like 12 years later. I gotta go check my Google facts. But what I don't
Yeah,
understand
and
is
it
that
was
like they
$1 million. It was
basically
$1 million.
that's all they won was $1 million, but they were suing for 40 something million, which they should have got all that.
No, that's all.
Like
Yeah,
that's what
that's
they
all
should
they
have got.
won. They were suing for more, but that's all they won. So that shows how much the city of
I read
Chicago
that
gave a
part.
fuck about them. Yeah.
Like it's fucked up because like the police, like so basically you guys definitely have to go watch the documentary. But what happens is that before they actually killed him, they had him in jail. They had him in jail to basically disable him. They arrested him for stealing quote unquote ice cream or some stupid shit. And they had him in jail. And when they were in jail for these couple of months. He was in jail for like a couple of months because basically the reason why I know it was a couple of months and not a year or anything over 9 months is because he had a girlfriend. So basically he had slept with the girl and then basically he got locked up. And then pretty much she ended up being pregnant. So then while he was in jail, the FBI wanted to basically they wanted to stop the activity that the Black Panthers was keeping at their what was it called? Their headquarters? I think it was headquarters.
Yeah.
So they wanted to stop all the activity. So while they had him in jail, they basically planned to kind of like they raided it a few times. And then they planned this one time when they came there. I don't even know what they went there for that one time when they was out there and they was doing a shootout. What
No,
did they go there for?
they were antagonizing them.
Yeah, so there was no real valid reason. They was just antagonizing them to be there. So basically, they
Yeah.
ended up getting in a shootout, and then basically after the shootout, they pretty much burned down the place. And mind you, the guy Fred was in jail. So once they burned down the place, the officer came to him and slid an article through his door showing him that his shit was burned to the ground. So
Yeah,
then
talking about some
basically he
it's
was still
over.
serving time.
Yeah, talking about some
Yeah,
it's
they said it's
over. You
over.
can't organize anymore. And they can hear and that's what I don't like about white folks. They feel like they can burn people's shit down, arrest people, put people in prison. Y'all really think we can't organize from inside? Did you see how they were passing notes and shit in prison? We can still get organized. Like you can't stop shit. That's
Yeah.
that's and when they figured out that they couldn't stop him
Sad
and his
because
people, that's
they
when they
killed
decided to
him.
take him out.
Yep. And
But let's
the saddest part of it all, huh?
No, what's the saddest part?
The saddest part of it all is that he was set up by a black guy. This happens like I mean, when you think about stuff like this, it's like think back to slavery time, when it's like they came and they was like, oh, if you give us one of your niggers, we'll give you a gun. And then the person really go get a human being and you trade them in for a gun as if that's an equivalent. Like you just sold off one of your people to be a slave. So it's like, why are we always selling out our people? Like to me, it makes no sense. I'm like, the guy
in the
basically they
car.
kind of held it over his head because he was caught doing a crime. He was caught doing a crime, right? What's his name? O'Neal. I think that's his last name, right? Whatever.
William
I
O'Neal.
think
His name is William O'Neal.
yeah. So that's basically the paid the informant, the FBI informant. He was the one who pretty much set Fred up. So to me, it's like if he wasn't so selfish, like say for example, if he had he was from Brooklyn, like if he was on that Bobby Shmurda timing, right? It was a situation where he did the crime, so nigga do the time. But instead of like he basically was caught doing a crime. He was impersonating the FBI agent, and then he also stole somebody's car. So he's like, you're looking at 5 years for impersonating an FBI agent, and then up to 18 months for the stolen car. So
Well,
that's less than 7.
that was the fucked up thing on both sides, because here's the thing. How the fuck do you walk into a bar as an FBI agent and you're by yourself? They don't roll by themselves. They're never by themselves. Just like
Yeah, but
Lil
if you
Rel
notice,
near the end of the movie when
but you
Lil Rel was sitting at the bar, he wasn't by himself. There were other impromptu blending in niggas with the FBI who were watching them. So those dudes in that bar, that guy who got his car stolen, like, I know they're like neighborhood people and they probably didn't know better, but come on now, the FBI. But mind you, this is the 60s also, so shit. And he did say the badge is scarier than a gun.
yeah, but the thing about it, if you notice what they were also trying to say, that wasn't just the one time he ever did that in his life. He did that as a hustle. He would go in and say he's the FBI and then he would steal their car. You understand? That was not the one. That's not the only time he ever did that. He did that as
Yeah,
a regular hustle. So
that's
it
why
just
he
so
said the
happened that
badge
the
was
one
scarier than
time,
a gun.
when he got caught, he came into an officer that basically was a dirty cop. He's like, okay, instead of locking you up, you do all this fucked up shit. And it's messed up because this guy, all he had to do was 7 years. If you would have did 7 years, and mind you had somebody that was doing something for us as a black people, and you sold him out because you didn't want to fucking do your time for your crimes that you committed. Stuff
But
like that is what's wrong with the world.
the police know they know when they can sniff out a rat amongst us, like somebody who can turn against us. And I actually had a note about that. I compared that to the first 48. You know how like on the
Yeah, I was
first
gonna tell you to
48,
get to your note.
yeah, you know how like on the first 48 when they catch somebody who knows something about a crime, but they don't want to talk at first, but then they give them like a soda, a sandwich, or something to eat, an
Hmm.
incentive, and get them to start talking. Because I actually had a class on that
But
this
it's
past.
stupid because you can't get me to start talking. You can't sweet talk me into telling you no shit. That's exactly what they do on Vlad TV. That's
They,
exactly what
they
they do.
can't, they can't, but the class was an interrogation course. So what you do is you sit those people in a room and you deprive them of things that they need, like fresh air, water, food, and then they start to talk. And once you offer them, some stuff, like this cop, he was offering him money and that car, like what he asked him, what do you need to help you help us? He was like, yo man, I need a car. Like, that's it doesn't take that much for niggas to flip. For bitch ass niggas to flip, excuse me.
Yeah, that's how I see it. And what else you had in your notes?
Yeah, because when they were sitting when he was first arrested, like I said, they know how to sniff out somebody, among us that can turn on us. did you notice how he was asking him questions like, how did you feel when Martin Luther King got assassinated? How did you feel when Malcolm X got assassinated?
Yeah.
Like, trying to feel him out. And he knew he was a bitch ass nigga. He already knew that shit.
Yeah, because he knew he wasn't somebody that thought that far ahead in life. Like you catch some motherfuckers that ain't even thinking, That's not even
Yeah.
deep thinkers. Like there's people that be living in the moment.
Yeah. Living in the moment doing some old dumb shit. So I had that, the FBI. I like the scene where they were Fred Hampton was, teaching his people, his comrades, and they had a quote that said, "Politics is war without bloodshed." And that is so fucking true. Politics is going against one group, one group going against another group, but changing policies to where it can weaken one group, and then the other side, they change their policies to weaken the other side. Like it's all just like the Democrats and Republicans, and then the people who are just caught in the middle, which is the American people. Like you could say you're for the Democrats, the Republicans, the Independents, but people in Capitol Hill don't give a fuck about you. Whatever changes they're making amongst themselves are for themselves, and it's to strengthen themselves and then weaken the other side. They don't give a fuck about what happens to the American people in the process. So that's I like that that little part right there. You have anything to say about that?
Girl, the one thing I am noticing is that when it comes down to the government and politics, like they really got things structured a certain way. And it's sad because it's like they try to install fear into people. And that's the one thing that I don't understand why people so scary anyways. Like it's a lot of stuff that people fall for. But that quote did stand out to me though. You see how they said the politics is war without bloodshed? And then when he said it was another part to it too though. Politics is war without bloodshed. And I think war is politics with bloodshed. I think that was the only other part of it.
Yeah, yeah.
But that did stand out to me. Yeah, that part did stand out to me. But honestly,
So
like I
it
said,
was
I can't tell you that I heard that story prior to watching the movie. Like I knew there was some like I don't think I ever like paid attention to what really happened to the Black Panther Party.
yeah,
But they
because
still
what
are around though because they said his son, huh?
they're still around and people they make smaller groups and stuff like that. But as far as the Black Panther Party is being as powerful as it was back in the day, can you imagine? Can you imagine what we can do? But can you imagine the treacherousness and the fucking traitors that would be in the group also? Like if we
Yeah.
had our own
It's
Black
sad
Panther
because especially
Party.
when the government knows. Mm-hmm.
Well, here's the thing: the government, and
Go
I feel
ahead.
like if we did it, the government can't know because we can't tell the government. Duh, we can't tell the government. But there's always going to be one rat ass nigga in the bunch.
That's like, oh, I got some information. How much y'all gonna give me? It's sad because if the price is right, a lot of people are selling out people quick. Like that's the sad part. Like and it's I actually want to kind of circle back on this with in my relationship. But my husband used to always be like, "Oh, somebody came to you and it's like, oh, they'll give you $1 million to have sex with them. Would you do it?" Honestly, no. I personally wouldn't do it because I don't think that you could just put a price on me like that. Like a lot of people see it as, oh, it's just sex. Of course I'm fucking them and I'm taking that money. But me personally, I'm not gonna stoop down that low to fuck somebody for some money. Whether it be $50 or whether it be $1 million. I fuck who I wanna fuck, period. Now, if I happen to want to fuck the person and I'm going to get $1 million for it, it's a different story. But not just fuck this person for $1 million. Like, I'm not that type of person, but you got some people that's out there that's like, you know what? If you sell out, you see that guy that you grew up with? If you snitch on him and tell me every fucked up thing that he did, I'm going to buy you a new car. Some people really going for the a lot of people is actually going to take the offer. And I don't like that. Like, I don't understand how you sit there and you feel like you could sell somebody out just to get ahead in life when you don't have to do none of that. You know? Well, that's just my viewpoint on it. I want to know if y'all comment below. Tell me if y'all would have sex with somebody just off the strength of money. Like, just meaning that, okay, some random ass stranger, you'll fuck them for $1 million, would you? And you gotta fuck them raw too. And you ain't even gonna know if they, their HIV status either. Think about it long and hard.
Girl, what the fuck? Hell no. Like, girl, crazy fucking yourself, man.
I didn't say they had HIV. I said you gonna take the $1 million. You not asking no questions. You just gonna fuck them for the $1 million. That's the offer. You taking the money, yes or no? Don't tell me yes, but they have to. No, there's no yes or no. There's no buts. It's yes or no. That's it.
Did you see where
you won't know the HIV status? You go and get $1 million. You won't know who the person is. There's some people off the bat.
Did you see where Lakeith Stansfield character, he was recognized when they went to the Crown's meeting, and he was recognized with the guy whose car he had stolen?
Oh yeah, that part in the I'm about to say the documentary, the show. Yeah, remember when at the end the girl but it was weird because the girl, remember after that the girl went up to him with a gun, and she was like, they should have killed his ass right then and there, and maybe Fred would have still been alive. But in the part of the movie, he was approached by some of the Black Panther members, and then they came up to him with a gun or something. They, was in a car, and they're like, what's that shit that they were saying about you stealing cars? And he basically sat there and told them that he used to steal cars. Mind you, he was really the goddamn snitch. Oh, another interesting part about this whole story is that Mr. O'Neill, right?
Yeah, bitch ass O'Neill.
He confessed in 1990. About what he did, what he was doing, how much he got paid over the years. The sad part is that after Fred Hampton was murdered by the police, he stayed in the Black Panther Party, still giving them information and helping them with whatever the fuck else they needed help with. Right?
Because they didn't know that he was a rat. They still didn't know.
That's the crazy part. I mean, you wouldn't really even think it, because this is somebody who was in his house. You understand?
That's why you can't let
I don't have nobody. I mean, shit.
That's why you can't let everybody into your fucking house. Because did you see how the FBI guy was telling him to write or draw an outline of what the place looked like? The office in Fred's apartment?
A blueprint. He wanted a blueprint so that this way they would know when it was going to go attack, they know what every exit is. He drew a blueprint. So, they know exactly what every room was, what room Fred, like they knew everything. And the sad part is that they shot over 100 times. And mind you, it's not even like they had a permit. Like what I don't understand is, how is it that whatever they did, how is that even legal? Why aren't they in jail? Why they only got $1 million? I'm confused. Shouldn't they be in jail? All of the officers that was involved?
I thought about that because I was like, all those officers that were involved, don't nobody know their names, don't nobody know where they lived. If the Black Panther Party really wanted to get organized, my definition of organization is to bomb their ass, bomb their homes, figure out who they are, and then just get back at them. And fuck all this, we shall overcome. And did you see the part where Lakeith That's the only thing I agree with him on, because he wanted to bomb them. So I think that was like maybe like a way out for him. Let's bomb them, so we won't have to, well, for him, he won't have to, deal with that shit anymore. But he had the right idea because they were planning on coming after them anyway. So, girl, and then Fred was
You
like,
said they were planning on coming after him anyway.
yeah, he was like, if we bomb them, they're gonna come back and bomb us. Not if y'all move strategically.
You
But
know
then again,
what? I do. That was
what?
the thing. They was, it's fucked up because, this is the even worse part about the whole situation. You see how Mr. O'Neill went to him with all of those weapons and stuff, talking about some, oh yeah, let's go after the police. And mind you, when they sat there and they told him like, nah, they was trying to frame him to set him up to do some fuck shit or accept the weapons, so that this way the police would really have had a reason to fuck with him. Because you also notice how he had on a wire. Because you see when he got in the car, he was mad because he didn't have no recording for him to be like, oh yeah, they up to some fuck shit. I offered them the
Oh
weapons
yeah,
and they
yeah,
took it.
yeah.
When
Yeah, I
he
forgot
offered them the
about
weapons, it made him look like he's the sick and twisted one. Like, why the fuck are you offering us these weapons, trying to get us to go after police? So his reaction it basically would have proved that they had no bad or ill intentions against the police and the federal government.
I
Because he wasn't
I
trying to take their weapons and go against the government.
I do. Fuck the government. And that brings me back to, why in the hell would you take a vaccine or any type of medicine from a government that wants to take your ass out?
Why? It's sad because the government won at the end of the day. They really won, because even it's so sad to the point where I started to say in 1990, Mr. O'Neill told us, did something. But basically what he did was he did a confession about everything that happened. But the other interesting part about it is that the same day that he did his interview and he confessed, what he was doing, he was asked the question, and the question was like, oh, what do you think people would think about you? And his response was interesting, because he basically was saying like, the people going to hear the story and they're going to decide for themselves, which is true. Because at this point, it's like we will see why he will do some shit like that, because we're not surprised, because there's other Black people who did the same shit that he did, But anyways, after he told his confession, he committed suicide. So that goes to let you know he either was getting some serious ass threats, or it was so heavy and he probably just couldn't live with it and he had to kill himself. But
with his bitch ass, I hope it haunted him, and then it haunts his son. Do mention his son. We didn't even know who his son is, but if we did, he'd be getting threats too, and he'd kill himself too. So fuck him, fuck his son, fuck that bitch who laid down with him and had a baby by him. Fuck his whole life and his legacy. Fuck him.
And it's sad because you would think that it's people like that I keep, they keep coming back up. Like these people that do stuff and they have no kind of remorse. What are those psychopaths?
I think he's a psychopath or a sociopath. Because I was actually watching The Sopranos, and the definition of a psychopath is somebody who they know they're doing wrong, but they justify it. Like William O'Neill, he justified doing what he did. Like he saw a reason to do what he did, even though it was fucking wrong.
It's crazy because sometimes for a lot of people, money in itself is that reason, and it's sad and it's disgusting because people really don't understand that money don't buy you happiness. Like it's people that's fucking rich and depressed and about to overdose on some shit right now. You understand? It's not the money that makes you happy in this life, and I think a lot of people fail to realize that money helps, yeah. But at the end of the day, you can have all the money in the world and you still won't end up like one of these celebrities that passed away, unfortunately, because they overdose, because they dealing with life, and life is a bit much. Life is a
Yeah.
bit much, especially when you spoiled and you used to live in a certain life. It's like, yo, listen, I remember the sweetie pies. What is it?
Sweetie
That
pies.
shit was for money. Sweetie pies. He killed his own nephew for fucking money. His own nephew for money.
Some
So if
money,
people,
some money that he
and
didn't
even
even
those,
get.
yep, and even those girls who I was talking about earlier, they killed their quote unquote their best friend. Mind you, they sat there and they act like they was this girlfriend and they was smoking weed with her, and that's why when they came to pick her up, you gotta listen to the beginning to get the full story. They came to pick her up to take her to her regular weed spot. That's what they told her. And they got out there to smoke and they pull out knives and start stabbing her. And they stabbed her over 50 times. And I'm like, yo, if you could do this to your fucking best friend, somebody that you saw every day, people be doing it. Like, I'm not surprised at what somebody would do to an absolute stranger.
Okay, well, one
Yeah.
more note that I wrote down. I recognize the guy who played George Sams. He was informant in the New Haven, Connecticut sector of the Black Panthers. So that's when we realized that the FBI had people in the Black Panthers in other cities, and that was some bullshit. Also, like I was like, what? Really?
Mm.
The guy who played
But I
George
don't.
Sams,
It's crazy because the Black Panthers it wasn't. Uh-huh.
huh? No, go ahead.
My bad. Go ahead. Go ahead. No,
Um,
I was just saying. I think there's a little delay. There's a little delay because every time I start talking, you start talking. But go ahead. You go ahead.
well, the guy who played George Sams, um, there's this girl that I follow on Facebook. She was on The Young and the Restless, and she
Okay.
married that guy. What's his name? Toriel. I cannot
Girl,
pronounce
don't
his
ask
name.
me.
He has
I only know them by face.
yeah, I know him by face, and I was like, that's that girl's ex-husband, because he's an actor and he's coming up in the ranks, doing his thing, whatever. And she was on The Young and the Restless, so I just recognized her. I probably should have sent that to you, but hold on, somebody's coming in. Okay,
And we're back. Yes,
somebody was
ma'am.
walking through and didn't want them in my
You said
fucking
something about the Young and
conversation.
the Restless.
Huh?
Yeah, it's good. You said something about the Young and the Restless.
Say that again.
I was saying, did you say something about the Young and the Restless?
Yeah, the girl was the that was on The Young and the Restless. She played Devon's sister. That was her ex-husband that
Okay.
played George Sams. But it shocked me. Well, I probably shouldn't have been shocked that the FBI had people infiltrating the Black Panthers all over the country. So that was some bullshit. Huh.
Yeah, but I don't understand. It's crazy because as much as they sat there and they did that with, with the Black Panthers, I'm like, but they didn't sit there and do that much effort and hard work, to set, to basically catch up with the goddamn KKK and to be tuned in on their shit. And even if they was tuned in, it was for the wrong freaking reasons. I'm like, why didn't y'all ever go fuck with the KKK like how y'all fuck with Fred Hampton? Like, why didn't y'all go burn down their warehouse, their headquarters? Why didn't y'all go run up in, the KKKs, like the head KKK? Why don't y'all run up in their shit and, shoot them? It's like,
But
it's
did
sad
you,
because anything that Black people do, they try to dismantle it.
but did you see the FBI guy's reasoning talking about the Black Panthers are just like the Klan? What the fuck is that? Hell no, they're not like the Klan.
That was the thing.
They,
I think that's what had me thinking. I'm like, even if they were just like the Klan, why aren't y'all applying that much pressure to break down and dismantle the Klan, the KKK? Why? Because the KKK is quote unquote helping y'all. with y'all
Exactly.
evil plans to destroy black people. Like, come on, like it's so messed up. And that lawsuit pissed me off because I'm like watching the video. From what I understood, there was no reason why they showed up at that man house. The police, the government, the people that's supposed to serve and protecting, all of that good stuff. They showed up at his house for no reason other than to murder him. No reason other than to murder him. And mind you, so when that lawsuit went on for so long and they only walked away with $1 million, like that was some bullshit. They need to take that shit back to court because Fred's son is still alive. So they really need to take that shit back to court because that was fucked up. Like ain't no justifying it. Anyways, you guys chime in on this topic. All right, you got anything else to say about this particular topic? Because we're gonna be moving on.
Yep. What's the next topic? Oh, Meghan Markle. Meghan
Me-
fucking Markle.
Meghan and Harry.
Meghan and Harry. The Duke and Duchess of Sussex.
Aren't they prince and princess? Aren't they the prince and princess? Or they're duke and duchess? It's Prince Harry, right?
Like they're
Not Duke
technically
Harry.
I mean, they are still the prince and the princess, but when you're an aristocrat over in England, you have a title, and the title is also kind of based off of your ranking, also. So their title is what they go by, but they are the prince and the princess because of they're in the royal family.
Okay. All right. So basically, there's been a lot of a lot going on. I believe they had an interview recently with Oprah, right? And basically on this Oprah interview, it was a lot of revelation around what she experienced in the royal castle, basically when it comes down to like racism and things like that. So it was an interesting interview. And like what's his name? I'm about to say Henry. Harry, right? Prince Harry. He got like a lot of heat because he actually moved him and his wife from, the royal castle. I think they moved. Where did they move? To Canada? I don't think they came to the US. But anywho, um, a lot of people was, looking like, why would he give up royalty, basically come live a basic average life? Because at the end of the day, when you're in love, you love who you love, and at the end of the day, if that was what was gonna make his wife comfortable, you know, and
No, they were going to
what?
do everything they could to make her uncomfortable. That was the point.
I'm talking about her husband. I ain't talking about the royal family. I'm talking about her husband.
Yeah. But what can he
He
do? What can he do? What can he really do?
he moved them up he moved, didn't he move them? Where did they go? To Canada? Because I don't think they came to the US.
Yeah, it feels like they fled, but I'm glad that they did leave. That was the only thing they could do. That was the only thing they could do. But what I was gonna say
The
was
thing about it is that no, they could have stayed and they could have been there and been miserable. Like you have choices. But they decided to get up and go for their. Go ahead. What's your views?
uh, I do you feel any sympathy for her or any empathy for her?
I mean, at the end of the day, I would because it's like you shouldn't have to go through all of that, especially not in these times. When I say like go through all of that, it's like you're talking about the princess, right?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, I would feel bad for her because at the end of the day, she's going through a lot of stuff that she only has to go through mainly because of who she is. Megan, right? She only
Oh,
goes through what she goes through because of who she is. If she would have been like a full, white person, she would not have had to experience half of what she experienced. It's just the fact that she's black or has black in her that, because like I said, she told, of course I'm going to feel empathy because it's like, I feel it for us all because at the end of the day, a lot of us are hated simply because of our color. It's like something that we have no control over, like something we literally have no control of because we're black or because we have black in our bloodline. It's like you're sitting there, you're hating us, you're wanting to murder us, You're treating us as if we're less than, all because we were born a certain color.
Okay, so I do feel empathy for her, but then again, I don't, because this is a royal family that goes back over 1,000 years. Like, their line is intact. Why in the hell, a racist ass white family at that? So why in the hell did you think that they were going to overlook the fact that you're half black when their whole line, they take pride in sleeping, marrying their third, fourth cousins removed just to keep their line pure, keep it white. Like, what in the
You know
hell did
what?
she
This
think
is
was going
so
to happen?
awesome. This is
Uh,
so awesome. Because you know what? This is awesome. You know why? Because
how?
the last thing we're going to be talking about was Coming to America, which is like Coming to America Part 2, right? You notice how it's like this when you really love somebody, right? You can't help who you love. You know, and it's like, I don't know if you watched the whole Coming to America, but at the end of that movie, what happens is that he was supposed to marry this one girl just to basically keep shit traditional. He was supposed to marry her. But then he noticed he had no emotional, mental, connection with her. But he actually fell in love with the hairstylist. So then he basically left Zamunda and coming to America. He left Zamunda to come back to the States, and they actually was in New York City. So he took her to Queens, and he was gonna marry her right there at some ghetto ass church, because at the end of the day, as much as he could have been, so basically, see, I can't tell you what happened in Coming to America. Y'all gotta go watch it. So, anyways,
Fuck
so
that
the
Dusty
prince,
ass.
he basically took this girl that he wanted to marry. You know, okay, so basically in Coming to America too, Eddie Murphy, which is Prince Akeem, well, he's King Akeem in Coming to America too, because the dad dies. But anyways, he finds out that he has a son. Like, so basically he has three daughters. And then they're concerned because they're like, who's gonna continue the family legacy? We don't got no boy. But then basically it turns out that he got drunk for a night and he had sex with this lady and he had a son, a bastard son. A bastard son. I'm laughing because if you'll watch Coming to America, you know why it's so funny. But anyways, so he has a bastard son, and then pretty much, he turns, he's a prince now. So, Prince Akeem and Murphy goes back to New York. He finds this son of his, and then, he brings him back to the Zamunda, and he wants to, teach him how to be a prince, all of that stuff, right?
Yeah.
So then, he marries the hairstylist is who he loves. So basically, he's like, so right, the day before he was supposed to get married to the other girl that, was going to be more like an arranged marriage, he decided he was going to flee and leave and go marry who he really wanted to marry. So it's like, you see, with the royal, thing, like Prince Harry could have chose someone else. He could have chose someone else just to please everybody else. But he didn't
But
want
here's
that.
the thing.
So that's
Prince
like,
Harry was not let next in line to do anything. That's why I felt like he was going to rebel and just marry anybody that can. I don't know if he wanted to start some controversy, but he knew he was going to. But like you said, you love who you love, but he also wanted to get the hell up out of that damn palace. So that's why I feel like Megan is some type of a scapegoat for him to get the hell up out of there. And for her, Harry was a come up. Because here's the thing, before Meghan Markle got with Harry, did you know who the fuck she was? Did you know that she was on TV?
I
Exactly.
didn't know that.
Exactly. So, like, there's a reason for everything. There's a reason for somebody getting with somebody at the end of the day, especially if there's some type of status or money involved. So, I don't think that I do think that they do love each other. Obviously, he loves his wife because, he chose his wife over the monarch, the firm,
Mm-hmm.
as they like to
Yep,
be
and he's
called.
made sacrifices for her. Yep.
Yeah, but I also do think that there was a reason why, he didn't marry her in the first place. Like, it wasn't all for just nothing. You know what I mean? And and let's get into that family real quick. They dirty as hell. We already knew they were dirty because of what they did to Princess Diana, but they dirty, dirty. Like this, Megan, she said that she told them that she wanted some type of therapy because she was suicidal from how she was being treated in the family and in the press. And they refused her to get some type of therapy. So what the fuck was she supposed to do? She's living in this
Mm.
palace. Girl, did you see where they took her passport, her phone, her license, everything? So she's living in this palace. She has to do these fucking appearances. She's pregnant. She's postpartum depression and all this shit. So what in the hell is she supposed to do as far as her mental health? And I think they wanted to break her down. They wanted to break her down just like they did Princess Diana. And when she said she was suicidal and she told them, I think they were probably like, yes, hopefully she'll kill herself or some shit like that, because you cannot get away with being one quarter black, half black, a little bit of black, that one drop rule. Over here in America, we see a half white woman who looks more white. She's very racially ambiguous over here. Over there, she might as well be my complexion. So they really didn't
Right.
give a fuck about her. They didn't give a fuck about that baby, the first baby that they had. Like, they didn't give any other reason other than, the baby is colored, or, one quarter or quadroon of black, other than
Mm-hmm.
that, to take away his title. Like, that baby has no title and no security, basically has no money because he's a quarter black.
I'm confused.
Really?
How did I? What do you mean? He's still a royal child, though.
He's still a royal child, but the family, the monarch, they stripped him of his title. He doesn't have any title or anything.
Mm,
And that's one of the
that's
reasons why they left,
interesting.
because their child wasn't protected. And if the child isn't protected, they aren't protected. And when they got over here to Canada, the Queen stripped them of their detail, their security detail. And Harry ended up having to pay for it on his own. And then that's when Tyler Perry stepped in. So they really just, I really do think that, they were really trying to set them up, because these are English royals in a whole other country and they don't have security. So you want them to get killed? The fuck out of here.
Mm.
So yeah. girl, it's a whole fucking
And that
mess.
is interesting.
Oh yes, 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 yes.
Yeah, that's especially like
So
when you live in a life and you gotta sit there and you really have to please people.
here's my
Yeah,
thing.
my bad.
Harry and Meghan, they better keep their head on the motherfucking swivel, because they out here doing interviews with Oprah and shit. And then the kingdom, they have to come out with statements saying that they're not racist. Like, really, you're not racist, but you're worried about what skin tone this baby is going to come out to be, but you're not racist, right? Okay,
Hmm.
but you're not
That's
racist.
sad though.
Okay. So yeah, they better keep their head on the swivel, because just like they got Diana, they can get their ass too. That's nothing to them.
Girl, wasn't that like supposed to be a car accident that she was in?
She was in a car accident. and she was actually still alive, but she did end up passing away. And the car, and here's my thing about Princess Diana. The car accident was in France. These are English royals. After they got into the car accident and Princess Diana passed away, her body was immediately taken to a French morgue and she was cremated. That's not supposed to happen.
Oh, wow.
That's not supposed to happen. These are English royals. How come her body wasn't taken back to England where she's a princess and they had a proper, of course, they had a proper funeral, but for her body to be, medically examined and all this other stuff. And here's another, speculation. She was actually pregnant by Dodi Fayed, that rich Arab guy. They saying that she was pregnant at the time, and that's why they did her body like that. So
You know it's crazy because okay, Princess Diana, she wasn't a princess through marriage. She was born into it, right?
no, she married into it.
So who she wasn't pregnant by her prince?
Huh?
She wasn't pregnant by her prince?
No, she was. They were divorced by this time because he was cheating with the wife.
Oh.
With the wife he has now. She was pregnant by an Egyptian who is, basically Egyptian is in Africa. She was pregnant by that African man, and they weren't going to have, no nigga baby with any royal status or anything like that. So I really do think that's why they had her killed. I think that's why they had her killed.
You know, after watching Bridgerton, which we never actually had the chance to review, like I could actually believe it because with on Bridgerton how it was a situation where they basically tried to hide the girl pregnancy and tried to make her get married to somebody else so that this way the husband could think it was his baby because remember she's supposed to be a virgin, girl. So I can imagine like I can believe it.
I
That's
did
sad.
see some
Like for them to
similarities.
cremate her body.
Huh?
You said you saw some similarity. What did you say?
I did see some similarities between, the Crown and Bridgerton, but the Crown is way more accurate, than, Bridgerton, other than, the Black Queen, Queen Charlotte. But other than that, the Crown on
Wait, The
Netflix, have you?
Crown is a show too?
Yeah,
No,
on
girl. That sounds
Netflix.
like The Crown. I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm
It's
like,
on
what did they
Netflix.
recreate the crowns that they use? Like when
It's,
you're talking about the
it's
crowns, I'm thinking that you're talking about the physical crowns.
no, girl, it's on Netflix. And the most recent season, season 4, that's
Okay.
the season where they go into the Princess Diana story. So go on Netflix, watch season
Okay.
4. You can watch the other seasons if you want to, but this is the one where they actually go into Princess Diana.
Okay. Well, I will check that out next. Anywho, what is this computer's pressing? All right, so I think we done covered everything. We done had y'all done had us for almost 2 hours. Hmm.
Yeah.
All right, let me try to do a card real quick so we can get up off of here. Oh, I got a card that fell. It says the key to prayer is to forget what I think I need. Didn't this come up last week? The key to prayer is to forget what I think I need.
Yeah.
I think so. That's crazy. Anyways, that's the one that fell. Let's see what we got at the bottom of the deck. At the bottom it says there's nothing sexier than my authentic truth. Oh, hey. But yeah, those are your little cards for today. Anyways, I think we done. We covered all the topics. We had our artists. I put the link for our YouTube. Well, when I shared it, I put the link for our YouTube. I put the link for our Instagram, and then I also put the link for the song that you guys got to witness earlier if you was tuned in from the beginning. All of that is within my description. Click, click, click. Click, click.
Yeah, I changed the info on Facebook, and I'll go ahead and change it on YouTube also.
All right, sounds good. We are, and it's a wrap.
All right. Well, I do know that Fred Hampton would say this: be blessed, stay black, and fuck those pig police. We will see y'all next
Okay.
week.
Good night, y'all. Thanks for tuning in to Deep and Dreams.
Deuces.
Bye.